Meghan Markle's rebrand has failed. It has come out officially. A lot of the media are circulating this. So I'm going to talk about why. I'm sure some of you probably think that you have your own answers as to why, but I want to explore the reality of what has been really going on, why both of them actually have failed in everything that they have done. So if you're like me and you want to get to the truth, not just clickbait and gossip, then this could be the channel for you. So don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss future uploads. That being said, go grab your drink of choice, whatever that may be, sit back, relax as we get into tea with some therapeutic knowledge. For those of you who are new, because I know most of you that have joined here and have been with me for a while, you know this spiel by now by heart. My name is Ems, I'm a qualified UK therapist and I've been in this field for well over 20 years. And I use the knowledge that I have in helping you understand body language, behaviour, not just what's being said, but reading between those lines of what's not being said. Now, for the most part, I am talking about Harry and Meghan because they are the gift that keeps on giving. But in the coming months, I will be introducing new topics, discussing in length for those of you who are sick and tired, pretty much like me, of Harry and Meghan. But anyway, so it is coming out in the media now more and more that Meghan has failed her rebrand. And I think we can include Harry in this. I think both of them felt by going to America that they were going to be incredibly successful in everything that they do. And I genuinely do believe that they were going to utilize the royal connection to do that. Now, we know the late Queen put a stop to them using HRH. This was put into abeyance. They were not allowed to commercialize this. But we also know that they have tried in every which way to use their royal connections to get the things that they have. Now, I'm going to say this in black and white because for those of you, if you are fans of Harry and Meghan, that you are perhaps needing to have this being told to you. Harry, as we know, is a prince of a country, the UK. So whether we like him, like his behaviour, whatever that is going to stay. However, Meghan is nothing. She is married to a prince of the UK. That is it. If she was going to be successful without the marriage, she would have been successful prior. Now, for those of them who blather on about, well, she was a millionaire, she was this. Yes, she had some money that she secured from Suits. She got royalties from the fact that Suits got watched by people. Yes, she had a rented car, lived in rented accommodation, and that was literally it. There was no Oprah, there was no Ellen, there was no Spotify, there was no Netflix, there was nothing. To the point where she was coming to the UK to try to be successful over here because she could not make it in America. There were no big corporate film companies wanting to snatch her up to work with her. There was nothing. So she married Harry, and I do absolutely believe that she thought that by marrying into the royal family, it was going to open Hollywood doors. Now, that didn't happen because we have seen that that has not happened. So what she's done, in my opinion, was that she then signed with Netflix, and she probably believed that with the money that she's got, the connection that she had, that Netflix was going to open all of these doors for her. Now, the reason the mockuseries was successful is because people like gossip. People like salaciousness. They believed that when they tuned into Harry and Meghan, they were going to get some gossip about the royal family. They were going to get some inside tidbits that we didn't know because there was an air of mystery around the royal family. Well, until Meghan turned up. And that is why people tuned in. If it was successful, there would have been incredible positive reviews about that mockuseries, but there wasn't. It was met with backlash after backlash after backlash because people tuned in to watch, but then were horrified at the way she mocked the late Queen, the way they lied and did what they did, a bit like when they tuned in to Oprah. Again, wanting to know the inside information, what was really going on. But what we got was lies, innuendos, accusations, them claiming to be the victim when they weren't. We got them discussing personal and private texts from the royal family, which, yes, people sat and watched. And in a sense, this is kind of curiosity in a sense, which is what people do, which is human nature. But the backlash from that was horrendous, which is why everything else that she has tried to do, everything Harry has tried to do, has failed. And this is why she has failed. Not because of anybody else, not because of the royal family, not because people are racist, not because people just don't want to see her succeed. It's because she is an unlikable, narcissistic personality. The reason Harry hasn't succeeded is because he is unlikable, and because people have realised that the royal family curated his image so well that we saw somebody that just isn't there. Harry may have moments. He has moments when I think he's away from her that are slightly redeeming. But I still believe that a lot of that is an act. I still believe that he doesn't care about Invictus. He doesn't care about the charities that he's involved in. He's utilised his mother's death in every which way he possibly can. He has tried to hurt his brother, tried to hurt his father, tried to hurt his grandmother and his grandfather and his sister-in-law and his nieces and nephews. This is what Harry does. He acts out, he reacts, and this is what he does. This is why he is not liked. This is why he is not really respected. I think the only reason he might get some grace in the USA is because of the fact that he is a member of the British royal family and respect William and Catherine. Now, Meghan is a whole other kettle of fish. There is nothing redeemable, in my opinion, about someone like Meghan. She goes out of her way to grift, to hurt, to manipulate, to get what she wants. And when she doesn't, she goes all out to be spiteful, nasty. You've only got to look at her taking the late Queen's name, pet name, the childhood name, the pet name that her husband called her. This was hers. She took that. You've only got to look at the way that she behaves in regards to her husband, H. The way she tries to devalue him rather than lift him up and create him to be somebody that is supposed to be admired. She doesn't do that. She wants everything to be about her, and she's now utilising children to do that. Whether you believe they are hers, not hers, doesn't matter. She is still utilising children to do that. But even when you strip all of that back, even the using of children, the using of the royal titles, calling yourself Sussex because you absolutely know that when William becomes king, the chances are that everything is going to change. So you got to keep reminding everybody that your name is Sussex. But you can't even remember Sussex Day. You can't even remember anything connected to Sussex to celebrate that. You were here for all of 40 minutes. So nothing they do shows that they care. They just lie and manipulate. And this is why she's failed. This is why he has failed. Because for the most part, we see through it. We see through the lies and we trust our instincts. And if you adapt that to real world scenarios, if you looked at how your instincts told you when you watched that engagement interview or when you watched the wedding or whenever it was, that moment told you that something was off with her, and then you went along and thought, I was right. I've watched this. I've seen when she shoved past him. I've seen when the mask slips. And I'm going to give you another example of the mask slip. So recently, as we know, they turned up at the 805 benefit, which was for Kevin Costner. And we all saw the video. And if you haven't seen my video on that, then please go and watch that. And I'll put the link up here above. Or if you go to the end of this video, if you want to continue watching on this one, then please go and click on the video at the end. Also reminding you, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future uploads. So there's another moment that was caught on camera. So somebody was filming this, and it was actually someone that was a fan of hers. And so, of course, when she was filming it, and this, I believe, was after she flounced off stage. So she's standing there watching. And of course, this woman who's a fan clearly is oblivious to what's really going on. But I caught it and I saw it. And if you watch it, now I do apologise for the fact that it's very, very blurry. I don't know why when you see footage in some areas that when you zoom in, and I know I've noticed this on a lot of footage that they've put out, the more you zoom in, the more distorted the image becomes. So you see this, but I hopefully have got it so you can see what I'm talking about. So here's the footage, and then I'll talk about it afterwards. So I'm not 100% sure whether this was after she's flounced off stage. I think it was, but not 100% sure. But you can clearly see here. So I'm going to slow this down in a minute. But you'll see here she's just looking, and then she smiles when she sees. And you can see her eyes moving. But in this next bit, you'll see that I slow it down so it's easier. So this is when she is watching Harry. She looks like she's grimacing at one point. She's not smiling with her eyes, so she's just staring at Harry. And then she starts sort of biting her lip. And then it's like, then she seems to notice that someone, and you can see the slight change in her as she starts to smile. And then you see the change in her face as she's obviously recognized that someone is filming her. But as I say in the next bit, she doesn't turn to the person and wave and smile. It's like, because this is quite far away, I've zoomed in, which is why it's distorted. So the person far away isn't going to see what she's doing, but you see her eyes just move to the left. In a minute, you'll see it happening. She's now grinning. So this is where she's obviously aware. Now there you see it. So she moves her eyes to the left. But when the camera's far away, you're not going to see her doing this. This is just her aware that someone's filming. And then she turns back towards what Harry's doing. So as you can see, and then I've done the voiceover as well. So as you can see, there is an absolute moment when you just see. So she's watching Harry, and even though she's got a slight smile, there's nothing in the eyes. There's nothing in the eyes. But so she's very aware that there's people in the audience. So of course she's going to be composed. But when you see the moment where she's obviously out the corner of her eye, she has spotted somebody filming her. Look at what she does. She doesn't just look to that person and wave and smile as in like, I'm acknowledging you. She literally stays looking forward and her eyes move to the side, and then she smiles. So that's not looking at the person. She does it so snidely that her eyes move to the side. So if you were looking at this from far back, you'd think that you wouldn't be able to see what she's doing. So she's looking face on, her eyes move to the side, and then you see her grinning. So this is her noticing she's being filmed, and she loves it. So this person who wants privacy, who's so scared and so worried about security and safety, this is what she craves. She loves the camera being on her. She loves it being about her. So when it isn't about her and it's about Harry, this is what she hates. And I also want to point out, so obviously when I put this particular video out on my Bite-Sized Tea channel, there was a lot of people that said that it looked like Harry was telling her not to come on stage. I'm not quite sure how people gather that from looking at certain footage, but anyway, people are entitled to their own opinions. But here's my thought on that is I disagree with that, because what I have said is that it looks like Harry's waiting for her to come up with him, but she's either busy talking to somebody, or there is every possibility that she was trying to find her own microphone. That's also possible. Either way, she's ignoring him. And so then what happens then is he turns and he then goes on stage without her. Now, the reason why I don't believe that he was telling her not to come on stage is because both of them were introduced to come on stage. Now, in the world of celebrity, they're not going to do something, or Harry's not going to do something by telling Meghan not to come on stage. He would also know by now that she would ignore that. So it would be absolutely pointless to then say to her, we've just both been introduced to go on stage. I don't want you to come on stage. He would also not do that in front of somebody, because then you've got people that are witnesses to him telling Meghan, which would then buy into her victim narrative of, oh my God, I'm being controlled by my husband when they divorce. So he isn't going to do something public that is going to create it to look like he's the bad guy. So what I do believe happened was that they were both being called on stage. It's very possible that she was looking for a microphone because he was going to have one when he goes out on stage. But I also do believe that she was potentially in conversation with somebody, and to embarrass him, she just didn't do what he wanted. So he goes out on stage, and then she finishes what she's doing, and then she goes to walk out on stage. Now there's also somebody that then walks forward, and people are saying that he was trying to block her coming on stage. Again, this is not something that they would do publicly. There would be a conversation behind the scenes, which would be, this is Harry's moment, you're not to come out on stage, in which case she would not be being called up on stage. So you have to look at, regardless of what might be going on in their personal life, when celebrities go and they're public, there's an image. And so generally they don't do those things. So I do believe that that person was probably trying to get Meghan to move her ass and get out on stage. Now, it's very possible that she couldn't find the microphone for her. So she goes out on stage and goes to Harry as if like, I would like the microphone. Harry then refuses and then steps back away from her. She walks off. Now, again, some people have said, well, she wasn't trying to get the microphone. She was going to hug him. I don't believe that for a second, because if that's the case, if she was going to hug him, he would have then done that, because he has his arm around her. So if that was all she was trying to do, he would then probably have just gone along with that, because for the optics of looking like we're a loved up couple. But I don't believe that. I think she put her arm up thinking that he was maybe not necessarily going to give her the microphone, but he was going to sort of bring the microphone to her so she could speak into it. And she did, and he didn't do that. And not only that, he turns his back on her and walks away. So that creates her to be annoyed. And so she walks off stage. Either way, that is very unprofessional, very poor, because no matter what world we live in, that just shows you in that moment that she's not happy. So then she goes to the side, stands at the side, and you can see that her eyes, even though she's sort of got this slight smile on her face, this will be because she knows there are people probably watching her. So she just stands there, but she's seething. You can see that her eyes, she is not happy. But the minute she clocks that somebody's filming her, because I imagine they've probably then held the phone up to film, so she's caught it out of the corner of her eye, she changes. But because they're so far away, she thinks they won't notice the fact that she's seen it, because you see her eyes move, and then she starts grinning. So she knows then that somebody is liking her and wanting to film her. This is just classic Meghan. But this is what I mean. This is things like this that show the truth, that show the way that she is as a person, the way that Harry behaves as a person. And this is why they have failed, because aside from their very small fan base, most of the people see through what they're doing. If they were really and truly loved and liked, they would have been a success with Spotify. She wouldn't have needed to find Lemonada, who was a company that nobody had really heard of. And even that, I don't think, has gone anywhere. She wouldn't need to have left and done what she's done. She could have been incredibly successful in her own right as being a working royal, but that didn't happen. Hollywood have not snapped her up, and because they haven't, what she's tried to do is get Netflix to do things where she can star in it or direct it or something connected to the film industry. Well, we nearly had Pearl, but that went by the wayside because that was she took that idea from somebody's book. You know, we see that she's now they're now trying to get this romantic comedy off the ground, and you can absolutely bet that she's going to want to star in it. And there is no way that this woman is going to allow some young, beautiful actress to take that role from her. So if she cannot be the lead role in that, the chances are she's not going to want anything to do with it, and so it won't get off the ground. This is the reason why Invictus hasn't done very well, because people are seeing the truth. They don't want to watch Meghan walking with the veterans. They don't want any of that. We are sick and tired of them. Sick and tired of the lies, sick and tired of the mainstream media not calling these people out when they misbehave. When you have the fact that it was so obvious she walked off stage and the mainstream media said nothing. The mainstream media have said nothing about the children, nothing about the way they behave. It is all puff pieces and it's all, oh, look at how wonderful they are and how loved up they are. And every time she sticks a post on her Instagram, it's like, oh, look, mainstream news, let's put it up there. People are sick of it. And this is why she's failed. Like I've said before, no matter how many followers she buys on her Instagram, and she is buying followers on her Instagram, I can absolutely assure you that I have been watching her Instagram, and in the matter of a week, she jumped from something like 1.5 million to 2 million. And then it was 2 to 3 million. She's buying people on her Instagram, and I think that she's in competition with other celebrities. She's in competition with the royal family. So she will try to, and this is what she'll do, she'll buy Instagram followers. And nobody will question it because to them, that's what it is. But what you've got to look at is that there is no way that somebody would jump that large amount in the space of a few days. It just would not happen. When you first go on, especially when you're a celebrity, when she first joined, she had about the same as what she had on her As Ever. So I would say that there are probably 75% maybe of people that like her in the world. Now, when you look at the fact there's 8 billion people in the world, when you have the fact that you've got about 500,000 people that like you, and especially given that you're not just the Joe average person, you are somebody that is married into a member of the royal family, that shows you how well liked you are not. And those people then also went across and supported her As Ever. So if you look at her As Ever, she has got way less than 1 million on her As Ever. So when you look at that and then you compare that to her Meghan one, which is now, I think the last time I looked, it was over 3 million. When she first started, she had nowhere near that. In fact, she was under, I think she had about 600 and something thousand, and she was like that for a while. Now, bearing in mind, there's probably reporters that follow her. There are people like myself that don't like her, that report on her. They will follow her. I haven't personally, because I don't get that for any whatever. I don't get that because you don't have to follow her to see what she posts. So for people that don't like her, that have followed her, that's just craziness. It's like those people that have bought her products. Don't get that. You're putting money in her pocket. That's ridiculous. But anyway, so you've got that going on as well. So she's buying her followers on Instagram because if you look at her As Ever, that is a true representation, in my opinion, of actually how many fans that she's got. Because if you are a fan of somebody, you tend to support what they have as a brand. You support that. So that is probably true. So she's buying her Instagram followers. So there you go. So that shows you that she's so desperate to be liked that she needs it to look on paper that she's more popular than what she is. She needs people to support her brand. So she will lie and she will edit. And I guarantee you this is what she's also doing with her As Ever products. She's making it look as if she's far more popular, that she is selling more things by telling everyone she's sold out. So when someone comes along that's got a lot of money, deep pockets, she can go, look at how popular I am. Look at how many I sell out of my products. So she will doctor and edit things to make it seem like she's far more popular. The bottom line is, if you are having to do that, you can't lie to yourself and you know the truth. The truth is that no, Meghan is not popular. No, Harry is not popular. When you're buying awards, buying products, buying your own products, when you're having to do what you're doing and behave the way, buying your own subscribers, supporters, whatever, you failed. You failed. You're not successful. And I think for those of us who get frustrated and annoyed with them, just hold on to that. hold on to the fact that Meghan deep down knows she's not successful, because if she was successful, she wouldn't have to lie, she wouldn't have to edit, she wouldn't have to buy her subscribers, her awards and all of those things. When you have the royal family that don't have to do that, when Catherine and William are literally loved and supported and crowds around the block when they turn up somewhere. The last time Harry turned up somewhere and they put out barriers, about 5 people turned up. So that shows you really how well liked they are. So I understand the frustration. I absolutely join you in that. But yeah, so this shows you the truth of what it is. So she has, she hasn't succeeded. So whatever it is, and you know, she's not going to give up trying, but that's what it is. Everything that she puts her mind to, she just is just a big flop. And deep down, she knows it. And so does Harry. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm also, like I said, I'm going to be doing different things. So I'm going to be covering in the next video, I'm going to be covering what's going on with J.K. Rowling and Emma Watson. So I've got some thoughts and opinions on that. If you want abbreviated versions, if you want something that's not quite as long as these videos, then head across to my bite-sized tea, because I will be covering on smaller videos over there on different topics, so you don't always get the Harry and Meghan stuff. It will still be there, but I will be covering other things as well. This channel is going to solely be for those longer videos, and also to say that I will be doing a live on Saturday. So for those of you who've been messaging me, commenting, when are you doing a live? When are you doing a live? I am doing a live on Saturday. Please remember that it's UK time. So by the looks of it, because I've put a poll up in the community page to find, I've done about 3 or 4 different times to find out which is going to be the most popular time. It is looking like it's going to be 6 till 7 this Saturday UK time. So also because I believe the clocks go back Sunday morning. So that's 6 till 7 UK time. But if that changes, then I will let everybody know. But just keep an eye on, because I will put it in here and you will see it going up ready for Saturday. So if you're free, you're not doing anything, come along, come and join me for a live. Come and ask me whatever you want. And yeah, so let's all have a chin wag together. So that being said, I hope you have a great rest of the week, whatever you are doing. And as always, you know, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.